Hello everybody. So I thought I would do a video today about the fourth trimester. We are well and truly out of the fourth trimester now. And Harry is now 6 months old. We are well on our way to doing baby-led weaning. But there's a lot of I feel like the fourth trimester gets overlooked so much. People don't tend to actually realise how much it can affect you after you've had a baby. So for me personally, my birth with Harry was quite traumatic. I'd arranged to have a home water birth, which I did have. I gave birth to Harry in a pool in our living room, and it was absolutely it was perfect for what I had planned. He is my third baby, my third labour. I had my two daughters, I had those in the hospital. I had stitches with all three of them. However, with my labour with Harry, basically my waters didn't go until just before he was born, which meant that out of all three, comparing them, Harry's was the most intense and the most painful. He wasn't a tiny baby when he was born. He was £8.10, but he was my smallest baby. So Poppy was £9.6 when she was born. Sophie was £8.12. She was my first, and Harry was £8.10. So he was the smallest out of all three, but his labour was definitely the most intense. It was mainly the pressure. It was the pressure of the waters not going. Once I got out of the pool to deliver the placenta, that's when everything kind of all went to pot. So I ended up hemorrhaging, and I lost 2 litres of blood. I ended up being blue lighted to the hospital, where I stayed there overnight. So instead of getting into my bed and relaxing, having a cup of tea and some toast and a cuddle, I basically didn't get to hold or see Harry for about 3 to 4 hours after he was born. I had 5 minutes with him after he was born, and then that was it then for hours. I ended up needing stitches, which I felt when I tore as well. I felt the tear. So it was very, very intense, quite a traumatic birth, which as a result of, I was referred for counselling. So I was struggling a lot with anxiety a week after Harry was born because I was breastfeeding him. I also developed mastitis, and that was around the same time that the baby blues kicked in. They laugh about it now, but there was an incident with the children. So Stranger Things season 4 came out a week after Harry was born, and my oldest daughter Sophie really, really wanted to watch it with us, and we were going to have like just a relaxation evening of watching it. But because Poppy was only, she'd only just turned 10 at the time, I felt like it was too old for her and she couldn't watch it. And then I got all upset, burst into tears, because she was saying, "It's fine, Mum, I'll just go and I'll chill in my bedroom and I'll watch and play on my tablet in my bedroom." And the thought of her being in her bedroom on her own absolutely devastated me, and I was just in floods of tears. At the same time as well, it was Chris's birthday a week after Harry was born, and his brother invited us to all go out for a meal together. It took me an hour to pick something to wear that I felt comfortable in, because after you had a baby, the bump doesn't go away, the swelling is still there, you are uncomfortable in everything. You know, I bled for 4 weeks after Harry was born, and there was nothing apart from maternity leggings or pyjamas that I wanted to wear. But obviously going out to a pub, I wanted to look nice, and I ended up in floods of tears because I couldn't find anything that I was comfortable in or that I liked. Chris turned around and was like, "It's fine, we don't have to go." And his brother actually said, when Chris called his brother, he said, "I was really surprised that Kira agreed to go for a meal a week after having a baby." So I was putting so much pressure on myself to be the perfect partner, to be the perfect mum, and I was failing, and I was struggling quite a lot, to be honest. It was pressure that I didn't need to put on myself, but I wanted to be that person, and I couldn't do it. Not only that, I was still very, very poorly. I was on a lot of iron tablets. I was having to inject myself twice a day as well to prevent blood clots because of my age and things as well. So there was all of that added on the top of becoming a mum again. So Poppy is 10. There's 10 years between Poppy, my youngest daughter, and Harry. And I don't care who you are, you every time you have a baby, it is a completely different experience, because no baby is the same. They don't go off a textbook. They don't do the same things. They develop at different rates. I'd never had a boy before. Harry was my first boy. And boys are different than girls in lots of different ways. But it was a very, very emotional time for me. So I was referred to counselling, and I ended up doing a 5-week course at my local children's centre with Sure Start. I think Sure Start run it. My midwife, well, my health visitor actually referred me to it, and I ended up meeting, it was only a very small group. I'm one of 4 mums who went, and we've all got similar situations, different stories, different births. But we bonded over the fact that the 4th trimester is hard. It is emotional. It's very isolating. You know, you all of a sudden you have your partner with you for 2 weeks, and you have visitors galore, and then everybody just drops off the face of the earth, and you are left trying to keep this tiny person alive, single-handedly, trying to do it on your own. And obviously if you have other children as well, you are running around looking after them, doing the school run, you know, taking care of your family, and this new baby has to just incorporate into your household. I'm sorry, I have no idea what Harry's doing right now. He's just kind of flopping. Things are much better now. The counselling session that I had, at the time I was very sceptical, and I thought, oh, what's group therapy going to do for me? It's not going to do much, just sitting there talking with other women. That's great. You know, it's not going to change anything, but it actually really did. So if you are struggling in any way, shape or form, even something simple as leaving the house, because after you've had a baby, nobody actually tells you how difficult it is just to actually pack up everything that the baby needs and to leave the house in the car, on the bus, however you're doing it. It's really difficult. And I remember feeling like I had achieved something the very first time I went to a supermarket with Harry in a trolley, which is a whole other thing. They don't tell you, or there's not many places that actually look after the trolleys that you would put a new baby in. So you feel like the ones where you can actually strap a new baby into the seat, you have to disinfect it, you have to wipe it down, you don't want to put your brand new baby in anything like that, and they've all been left out in the rain. So 9 times out of 10, especially if it's winter or you live in the UK, it's wet, it's been rained on, there's sticky stuff on it, it's dirty. So you're juggling all these different things as well. So even just leaving the house to go and do the food shopping is an achievement, and it's something you should be proud of. Yes, it should be. There's so many different things that come along with the 4th trimester that women as a whole, we try and just get on with them. And we get overlooked quite a lot as new mums, and it's wrong. It shouldn't be that way at all. And we also do put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We spend our entire pregnancy, you know, I can't wait to hold this little bundle. I can't wait to cuddle this baby. I can't wait to be the best mum that I've ever been. And when it comes down to it, you are sleep deprived. You are awake most of the night, whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding. And anybody who's sleep deprived is going to struggle on a daily basis. Trust me, it is very difficult. I breastfed Harry, and with breastfeeding him, I was up and down several times in the night, which is another reason why I developed mastitis as well, because of breastfeeding him. He started cluster feeding, and I just felt like all I was doing was just sitting there and just continuously feeding him. I wasn't spending any time with my daughters. We ploughed through it. I mean, Harry's 6 months now, and I would say about 4 weeks ago, I started combi feeding him. So he's still breastfed at night, he's still breastfed in the morning. so from lunchtime onwards he'll have a couple of bottles, and I've done it so that it frees me up. It means that Chris can have some quality time giving him a bottle. Sophie or Poppy can have some quality time. I can give them to family members, especially with moving house as well. It came in really handy. I do have breast milk in the freezer, which I froze ahead of time. And that stash is staying there for now. We'll only dip into it as and when we need it. But it's not easy, especially, say for example, if Harry slept through and all of a sudden I need to pump, so I have to find the time to pump, and then I have to time to feed him, and then to run around after the other children, and it can become quite overwhelming and not as relaxing and calm, and just sitting there cuddling your new baby. You do treasure the moments that you do get to do it, but I do think that it becomes overshadowed. And for me personally, I struggled quite a lot because I was striving to be a certain kind of mum, a certain kind of partner, and I felt that I was failing in what I was doing. So these were things that I had to overcome myself personally, which the counselling helped me, and I've remained friends with the women that I met in the counselling session, and we meet up, and we still see each other, and we still support each other as well, which is good. It's women supporting women, which is how it should be. And then obviously as the babies get bigger, you move on to the weaning. We're doing baby-led weaning. I will say, I was at a baby massage class with Harry, and it was at the end of the class. By the way, Harry does not like baby massage class. As you can see, he's too much of a fidget. He doesn't like to just lie still. So it was more of a socialising thing for me, which came about after I went to the counselling sessions that I needed to do. I needed to go out and socialise and try some baby groups. So it was at the end of the session, and I stood up and I got my period. There was no warning, there was no cramps, there was no outbreak, there was nothing. I had no warning signs whatsoever, no idea it was coming, and I was like, oh God. Thankfully, I knew at some point it would happen, and I did actually have some supplies with me, so I ran to the toilet to do it, and the lady that ran the session held Harry for me while I sorted myself out. That period, absolutely fine, not an issue. And then fast forward a couple months later, and I got my second one. So it wasn't regular every month, and I put that down to the fact that I was breastfeeding Harry, so it's not every single month. I don't know where he's going right now. The second one, I had to resort to wearing maternity pads because it was so horrific. It was as if I had just given birth all over again. It was that heavy, that intense. But again, there was no cramps, nothing like that until probably day 2, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I felt drained, headaches, exhausted, started getting outbreaks on my face again. I don't know about hormones, but I mean, Chris hasn't said anything to me, but it has been a very stressful time with packing up a house, trying to move, and then the house move being delayed, and all different things like that as well, which all contributed together and didn't make it very easy. But again, these are things that I wasn't really prepared for. I wasn't prepared for it to be like that, and it's almost as if I don't know my body yet. I'm still trying to, 6 months on, still trying to figure out where my body's at with regards to, I used to be like clockwork, and I would know the warning signs, and I would know exactly what was going on in my body by, you just know different feelings. But at the moment, I haven't a clue. I'm still trying to figure it myself out as well. I jumped straight back into trying to lose weight because obviously I'm getting married in 2 months now, but I felt that I needed to lose the weight quickly. I needed to be up and running And in reality, it took a midwife to actually turn around and say, you know, Kira, you had a very bad labour, a very bad birth, you lost a lot of blood. It's going to take up to 6 months for your body to be able to actually replenish the blood that I lost and the iron levels that I lost. So for 6 months, you will feel drained, you will feel tired, and you will potentially struggle. It was things like I would jump up to try and get showered, and I would have a shower and then I'd have to come and lie down because my head would just go so dizzy, because obviously I was low on iron. I was low on everything, in all honesty. Chris was an absolute lifesaver. He was the most supportive partner I could have asked for during my pregnancy, during the labour, you know, and after. The care that he gave me, I mean, that's why I'm marrying him. But it's having a supportive partner, having a support network around you is so important after you've had a baby. And I think that women need to take a minute and just put ourselves in check sometimes and realise, do you know what? We made a person. We made a person with our bodies. We delivered a person. Doesn't matter how your labour was, you know, C-section, anything, it doesn't matter. You made a person, you brought a person into the world, and now you have a massive job to keep that person alive. And let's face it, especially as they get older, they do everything they can to challenge that. You know, Harry will roll around the floor, and if he sees a wire, he will go straight for the wire. It's just what children do. I think they're pre-programmed to keep us on our toes. But it's a massive thing that we've accomplished and that we've done, and I do think sometimes that we deserve to give ourselves a pat on the back, give ourselves a break, and to just take stock of the fact that we made a person. That's a big thing, you know, that's a person with a personality, with traits, with, you know, that you don't know how they're going to grow up, how they're going to develop. And your job doesn't end there either. Just by making this person, you have to raise this person, you have to keep this person safe, and you have to mould them to be the best person that they can be as they develop. And I think that the 4th trimester is ignored quite a lot by a lot of new mums. You don't realise what you're going through. You don't realise that what you're experiencing is normal. If you need help, you need to speak to someone, speak to your health visitor, speak to your midwife, speak to a parent, speak to a friend, anybody. It doesn't matter who they are. You have support around you, and having that support is important. If anybody even wants to comment on my videos, reach out to me. I'm happy to be your support, because I've just experienced it myself, and I am still experiencing it. I am still going through it, and I understand how hard it is. So yes, that's basically my take on the 4th trimester. I will do another video on baby-led weaning with this one at some point as well. But I think that moving forward, if you're in a similar position as me, if you are currently pregnant, if you have just had a baby, give yourself a pat on the back and give yourself a break, because what you've done is absolutely amazing. So well done you. I'm going to sign off, so thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, it really helps my ego, and I will see you next time.